Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're gonna master a tense you probably use every single day, maybe without even realizing it, the present simple. By the time we're done, you are going to be using it with total confidence. Let's dive right in. And just so you know, all this great info is coming straight from the experts at BBC Learning English. They are fantastic at making grammar super clear and simple, so yeah, we're in very good hands. So here's our game plan. We're gonna tackle this in 4 simple steps. First, we'll talk about why it's called the everyday tense. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty, the rules of use. After that, we'll see how to actually build your own sentences. And finally, it's your turn to practice. Sound good? Let's go. Kicking things off with part 1, the everyday tense. And honestly, it's called that for a reason. This tense is pretty much the backbone of our daily chats, and I bet you're using it way more than you even think you are. Okay, so if we're using it all the time, when exactly are the right moments to pull it out? Well, that brings us right to section 2, the rules of use. It really just comes down to 3 main situations. First, we use it for things we do all the time, our habits and daily routines. Second, for general facts, things that are just always true. And third, and this one's a little bit of a curveball, we use it for future events that are locked into a schedule. Let's look at that first one, habits. I brush my teeth twice a day. Classic routine, right? You'll often see words like always, sometimes, or never hanging around with this tense, because they all describe how often a habit happens. And here's the second use, a general, undeniable fact. Fire is hot. I mean, you can't really argue with that one, can you? It's a universal truth, and for those, we always use the present simple. Think of other ones like the earth revolves around the sun. Same deal. Okay, now for that third rule that sometimes trips people up. We're talking about tomorrow, which is the future, right? But the sentence is, my meeting starts at 10 a.m. So why is it present simple? Well, it's because the event is fixed on a schedule, almost like it's a fact. It's like a train timetable. You'd say, the train leaves at 5 p.m., not will leave. Make sense? So we've got the when down. We know the situations. Now let's move on to section 3 and get into the how. How do we actually build these sentences correctly? All right, listen up, because this is probably the most important rule of the whole thing. I call it the golden rule. For the third person singular, so he, she, or it, you just add an S to the verb. That's it. So I like coffee, but he likes tea. The dog likes its food. Simple, right? But so important. Now, what if you want to make a sentence negative? It's super straightforward. You just need a little helper word. For subjects like I, you, we, and they, you just pop in do not, or as we usually say, don't, right before the main verb. And the main verb, it doesn't change at all. So what about that golden rule we just talked about? For he, she, and it, our little helper word is does not, or doesn't. And look closely here. The S that was on reads jumps over to the helper verb. It becomes does. So we say, she doesn't read, not she doesn't reads. That's a really common mistake, so watch out for it. And making a question, just as easy. Seriously, it's a simple little recipe. You start with your basic sentence. The shop opens early. Then you put do or does right at the front, and you finish it off with a question mark. Boom. Does the shop open early? Done. Okay, theory time is over. We've covered the rules, we've seen the examples. Now it's time to put what you've learned into practice. In this last section, it's your turn to be the expert. You ready? All right, first one. Fill in the blank for me. They always eat dinner late. What do you think goes in there?
All right, first one. Fill in the blank for me. They always eat dinner late. What do you think goes in there? I'll give you a second to think about it.
The answer is eat. They always eat dinner late. Perfect. Why? Because the subject is they, and for they, we don't need to add that S. If you got that one right, fantastic job.
Let's try another one. The train stop at every station. Now remember to think about the subject. Is the train a he, a she, or an it? And the answer is stops. Because the train is an it, we have to follow our golden rule and add that S. The train stops at every station. See? And that's also a perfect example of one of those scheduled events we talked about. Okay, time for a different kind of challenge. I'm giving you a statement. We play tennis on Saturdays. How do you flip that around and turn it into a question? And there it is. Do we play tennis on Saturdays? We stick do at the beginning because our subject is we, and the rest just falls into place. You're getting the hang of this.
All right, time to make this personal. I want you to pause for a moment and write down just one sentence about a habit or a routine that you have using the present simple. Maybe it's, I drink coffee every morning, or I listen to music on my way to work. Go on, give it a shot. Actually doing it is the best way to make it stick in your brain.
And for our final fun challenge, think about your favorite movie. You know, whenever we tell someone the plot of a book or a film, we almost always use the present simple. We say, a young wizard goes to a magical school and fights a dark lord. We don't use the past tense. So try it. Try summarizing your favorite film that way. You'll see this so-called simple tense is actually the key to some really powerful storytelling. Now, what story are you going to tell?